Hola and hello from the beautiful view here at Don Roger Restaurante, just outside of Uvita, Costa Rica. The beautiful view of the whale tail. This is Costa Rica Story Live coming to you from the Mirador. I think that's Spanish for the viewpoint. And my coffee's just coming in, or my agua and coffee. Muchas gracias.
Con gusto.
Cafe Negro. So the tourist season here in Uvita is just starting up now. I guess around December 1st, it really, I don't know, there's no real official thing, but it's been picking up for the last few weeks. So it's getting busier. There's a lot of new faces in town, and things are getting a little more crowded. But the weather's also being less rainy. But with that being said, Sunday we had a huge rain here. It rained. It was the hardest and longest that it's rained in Uvita since I've been. It rained so hard that it was just in the evening. It was just starting to get dark, and I left my house to go out to eat. And when I did, I know, and it had been raining for all afternoon. And as I was leaving, I noticed I have two bridges that I have to cross because there's two streams to cross on my driveway. And the second bridge was the water was raging almost over top of it. And I was thinking as I was leaving, I was like, yeah, that bridge is probably going to be underwater by the time I get back. And I've never seen that since I've lived here for a year and a half. And I went out to eat and I came back and it was dark by that at that point. So I came up to the bridge very slowly, of course, because I was thinking about the water because it had been raining steady and hard the whole time I've been gone. That was another thing when I left. I thought, well, it probably won't be too bad because this rain isn't going to rain this hard for so long. But it did. So it rained the whole time I was gone, and the streets were all kind of in Ubita were all a lot of a lot of spots were like underwater. I mean, it wasn't like we had a Hako or anything like that, but there was a lot of standing water everywhere, so you had to be careful. So I get back to my driveway, and the water was over top of the bridge, and it wasn't just that it was over top of the bridge; it was over top of the bridge, and it was running really fast. So I thought about crossing it because I do river crossings all the time in my car. But the thing is, this is it was really fast, and I tried to. I went out and I wanted to see how deep it was, so I kind of crept out there, and keep in mind it's dark at this point, so I'm walking out there, and it was probably a foot and a half over uh, the bridge, but like I said, it was running really fast, so I was holding on to the branch of this tree, and I started stepping out, and I probably could have made it across, but if something happened where there was I slipped because there's a lot of debris going through there. Anything could happen. There could have been a log coming down as I was going through. So in this case, discretion was the better part of valor, and I just went to the grocery store for like half an hour, and I came back, and I thought it would be down a little bit, but it was completely down. So it was almost like a lot of times when it rains, it's almost like a flash flood to a small degree, and that's kind of what this was because it was up over top of the bridge just for that amount of time. Then it went right back down to normal high. I mean, it was still raging and everything, but it wasn't over the bridge. And I got back home and everything was cool. And in other news, as if you follow the channel, you know that my landlord has a herd of not a herd. We've got three goats, three cabras, and we had a birth on Sunday, and then we had another birth yesterday. So there's two little cabritas, and adding to the herd there. We've got five goats now altogether. But the little ones are cute. If you want to see a picture of her, go to the community tab, and I've got a little snapshot I took of the little cabrita. They are so cute. They're cute little things with the big ears and floppiness. Ooh. And today I've ordered pancakes because I saw on they did a on Facebook they uh, they showed the pancakes and they're pouring syrup on it. It's really good. So I'm going to be giving that a try here. Got some nice agua. So so here in Central America, there's a little bit of a kind of a refugee crisis. And it's you can really tell in Uvita because we're affected by it here because I'm not sure if the migrants are coming back from the U.S. because a lot of them weren't allowed to get in that thought they were going to be allowed to get in. But there's a situation where there's a lot of displaced Venezuelan people, and there's some panhandling like at the supermarkets and things, and they've been waiting outside the ATMs and kind of panhandling people there, and it's a delicate situation because of course you feel sympathy for them because their plight is horrible, and also you look at the other side of it. Uvita needs tourism to survive, so you don't want a big problem where there's these people harassing the tourists. So yeah, they have done a few different where they go through and they I don't know what you call that they relocate the refugees back to the border. Either I was reading an article that said they try to take them to Panama first, and if that doesn't work, Nicaragua. I'm not really sure. It's a complicated situation, and it's got a lot of people in town kind of at odds with each other because there's people that want to give them their full open arms, and there's other people like we can't afford to give them full open arms because Costa Rica is not a rich country per capita. The people here don't have a lot of money to expendable. There's not a lot of expendable income. People work hard here and they don't get paid as much as they should, so it's tough. It's a tough situation. But I know that's not what we're here for. We're not here to talk about that kind of stuff. We're here to look at the view, the Mirador, here at Don Roger Restaurante, just outside of Uvita, Costa Rica. A real easy drive up the hill from Route 34, and you probably want a 4x4. But I mean, if you're in Costa Rica, you probably want a 4x4 anyway. And that's Route 34 that we're hearing right now, as a matter of fact. Those beautiful clouds. So I found out I can do live streams from my phone, which I did one earlier this week, um, capturing some of the howling of the howler monkey at my place. But today we're live from the laptop. It's funny, you never seem to get the same sky here. Like today, there's like I don't know what you call those type of clouds, but they're a little bit of blue sky mixed in with the puffy clouds. Then along the horizon, you've got all these cool different shades of blue and gray and white. It's pretty amazing. We definitely have to do one here from during sunset to see if we can catch one of the beautiful sunsets here. I know they get a lot of really good rainbows here.
Okay.
Excelente. Wow. Gracias. All right, so as is tradition, I'll show you without dropping my lap off of the edge of the table. I'll show you what the breakfast looks like here. These are some nice pancakes, some syrup, and some fruit. Very simple, but it smells very, very good. I can't wait to dig in. But you don't want to see that, so I'll give you one last look at the pancakes. And as soon as the pancakes show themselves, the ants start coming over the table. Let's go back to the view. Buenos dias, Senor Don. Yes, the traditional pancakes. And they look like really good pancakes too. Looks like it's going to be a decent day today. So, 1st of December. It comes on you quick here because I was saying in the video I had done recently that I'm used to the 4 seasons of winter, spring, summer, and fall. And here it's not that way. It's it's the green season and the rainy season. No, excuse me. It's the green season and the high season. Because the green season is referred to as the rainy season, and there's a few other different terms. And it's still early yet. I haven't had much coffee. So this weekend I'm going to an indigenous community called Baruca. Check out the village there and see what things are like. It's not that far away. It's just a little over an hour from Uvita, but I've never been there, and I'm looking forward to checking it out. Macaws flying overhead, you can probably hear them. There are a few in the trees too. It's one of the things you don't notice until you stop and say, "Oh yeah, there's two flying right by." They have a very distinctive call, heading off into the distance. So there's a lot of hustle and bustle from the tourist season here in Uvita, and there's also a lot of hustle and bustle with construction. There's so much construction going on here; it's kind of crazy. It just makes you wonder in 10 years what it's going to be like here. I was visiting some friends up in Ocachal, up in the mountains up there, and they're renting a really cool little rustic place there. Real nice little home. And we went for a walk, and it's just amazing all the new construction going on up there. It's almost like there's a race to get things put in. So that's a truck coming down the hill on Route 34. And Tim is here in Costa Rica finally. He's been watching from Minnesota, usually driving his truck. Now he's probably driving something a little bit smaller. He's here in Costa Rica. Whereabouts are you now? It's a beautiful day out here in Uvita. Have you got good weather there today? Well, these pancakes are great. I haven't had pancakes in a really long time. Hola, Costa Rica Chronicles. How's my buddy Buford doing this morning? And Buford he's a dog. Well, he doesn't know he's a dog, but he's a dog person, I guess. So it looks like the waves have tapered down a little bit and getting closer to normal. This past week, the waves have been huge, enormous. There's been warnings at all beaches to probably stay out of the waves. Uh-oh, you don't want that. Buford the dog was after a skunk. You have to get the tomato juice out, get the smell out of them when you get sprayed. Well, you've got a lot of wild creatures up there. You've even got you've had the wildcat sightings up there in the mountain. Gracias. Yeah, I don't. I think that's kind of a stretch, isn't it? Weasels aren't very big. The other neighbor you had was saying he was hiking the property down there, and he ran into an area where he smelled what smelled like a cat had sprayed, and he was thinking that was from one of the cats up there. They were saying that somebody had seen a puma up there. I thought, but there's a lot of different small cats here that I don't know. Yeah, people are funny. Different people's perspectives. Yeah, so your neighbors probably never had a chance to see it yet. Your neighbor probably saw a weasel and then said, "Oh yeah, that must be what they saw." So today's breakfast, I went with pancakes instead of rice and beans in the French toast. There's quite a variety of things to get here, but I did stick with black coffee here. sometimes when I go out, I either get cafe mocha or cafe negro. So everybody posting today is posting from Costa Rica. I don't know where all our people from North America and Europe, where are they at? I was looking at, I have a friend who's a subscriber of the channel, also has his own YouTube channel. His name is Dirk from Germany, and he's got a YouTube channel called Dirk's Wild World. And he said about a trip here to Costa Rica. He's been here several times. He took a trip recently and did some really great videography, and he's doing a multi-part series about Costa Rica. So search for Dirk's Wild World in YouTube, and it's got some really cool things. The second one is about to be released, I believe. So this is my second December here in Costa Rica. And December just, it looks different than it has all my life. December in Costa Rica is just a different thing if you've lived in a cold climate. Every once in a while, for about 3 seconds, I'll kind of miss what snow looks like, and then that's all. 3 seconds is it. And then I'm back to no. I'm glad I'm not in the snow. I'm glad I'm not scraping the windshield off to go to work and driving through the dangerous roads on my 45-minute commute to work. Maybe not 45 minutes. Maybe my 40-minute commute to Queensbury, New York. Well, in Queensbury, New York, actually, where I used to work, is where they got the tree for the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. It's a huge Norway spruce they cut down there. So there's a lot of new businesses and construction, new houses and things. And if you haven't been to Uvita in a year or so, there'll be a lot of new things that weren't there last time you were here. So I was thinking of doing a video on that. Just on the street where I live, there's probably 5 or 6 new businesses and some businesses that have really revamped themselves. But there's new places, new restaurants all over down in Bahia. There's a new fusion place there. They asked me to come and do a video. I can't remember what they were. There were a few, these fusion restaurants. They're like, they combine different types of cuisine. I can't remember. It was like, don't quote me on this. It was like Parisian. No. Wait, Costa Rican, Japanese, and Peruvian. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. And of course, me. I'm just the guy that goes for the pizza. That's my first question. Oh, is there pizza on the menu? So here's a question for everybody out there. I don't like fish, but I want to start eating fish. But when I go to the supermarket and I smell fish, it just turns me off, the smell of fish. So I've been asking this to all my friends here too. So what is your favorite fish? Or what do you think would be a good entry level fish for somebody who doesn't like fish to start eating fish? And I know there's like the batter coated stuff, but I don't really think that's what I want to be eating. The reason why I want to eat fish is because it's more healthy. And also here in Costa Rica, we have an ocean right here, so there's a lot of fish. I think that would be a huge benefit. Yeah, that is one of the many good things about living in Costa Rica, especially this time of year. You can see other people living that kind of uncomfortable winter existence. Of course, it is always nice, those beautiful moments, like you wake up in the morning and it's a fresh snowfall, and it's a sunny morning, and you get to see it. But then you walk out and it's so cold it freezes your nostrils, and you just want to go back inside. Or if you're a dog owner and you want to take your dog out, your dogs don't want to go out. But it was funny because I've seen that in Costa Rica, like people posting on Facebook that live here, their dogs don't want to go out because it's raining so hard that you can't see 2 feet in front of you. So the sky is constantly changing. This morning, when we first started the broadcast here, it was like all these, I don't know if they call them cumulus, but they were really cool looking clouds. Now the sky is getting really blue. The Costa Rican summer is nearly upon us. It is October 1st, and I think that's the turning point for a lot of businesses. I've been meaning to get into Sunset Body Works for their green season special. which is a really a decent price for a 45-minute massage. But I'm not. I think that might be over starting today. I keep on thinking it's October 1st. I don't know why. But it is December 1st. Along with the high season, usually businesses extend their hours, so they'll be open later or open a greater number of days. And it's definitely a kind of a love-hate situation because the tourists are a huge part of the economy. And when people come here and spend money, it's the lifeblood of this community. But at the same time, it makes things a little harder. You got a lot of traffic congestion going on, and your restaurants that you're used to going to and having your choice of tables have got a lot of tourists in there. Buenos dias, B. What's that? Costa Rica versus Germany today, right? Is that the game? Well, that 7-0 was not a pleasant thing. That lost to Spain. Costa Rica's lost to Spain. But what I like about it is you really see the Costa Rican sense of humor in a situation like that. That's all there is left to do is make a few jokes about it and get ready for the next game. Crab meat. I've never thought of that. So is lobster and crab, are they similar in taste? I know they're both crustaceans, right? Yeah, more more affordable sounds good to me. Although I do have a snorkel and mask, I could maybe go find my own. Very doubtful. That was a joke. I'm still trying to get over my irrational fear of large creatures in the ocean. I'm looking down at the whale tail to see if there was some idiot. I don't know why they did this. They took a long um, kind of a pole. It was a tree kind of. And it was a long skinny tree, narrow at the end. And they went out to the end of the whale tail and they stuck it up, so it was kind of like a flagpole out there, and you could see it from like a mile away. It was really weird because it wasn't that thick, but it was just the way it was out there. It was. I thought maybe When I first time I saw it, I thought it was a crane, but they had they had it out there, and somebody built like a little sun shelter on it. But I've been thinking of doing some drone footage out there, and it would mess up the drone footage. So I'm hoping somebody took it off of there and it's gone. I can't see it from here, but this is quite a ways away. Yeah, everybody here, they had the red shirts on. I was actually at El Mercado, and people are glued to the I think somebody had an iPad or something. Yeah, it would be cool, like in a sports pub or something, to watch the game. And of course, I really don't understand football, soccer very well, but I know it's a pretty intense game. Dirk, you're just the man. Like, I wonder where your loyalties are. Germany versus Costa Rica. Who are you rooting for? So you're taking a break from editing the videos, get out into the sun and nature a little bit. And I'm talking to Dirk from Dirk's Wild World, who's got a YouTube channel with some new documentary series that he's releasing as he's editing. He's got a lot of work to do. He was here for a long time and shot a lot of video, a lot of different places here. The first episode is out. The second episode is coming muy pronto. So as somebody from the U.S., I was raised on mostly NFL football and baseball. So I'm trying to absorb the football, soccer mindset. It's just fun talking about it with my friends. They explain a lot of it to me. Yeah, that must be interesting. The creatures that you see at night. I actually don't go out very much at night. Like, I don't go out very much in town at night, and I don't go out too much around my place at night, because I know that those creatures are what you're looking to find. I just don't really want to bump into a fer de lance in the middle of the night. I sometimes worry about it on the road back to my place, because of the people that have been on site working on one of the buildings or on the property where I'm staying. They said, "Oh yeah, at night they've seen a couple different fer de lance." So like a couple over the course of a month, they've seen a couple at nighttime. Episode 2 is coming out Domingo. So if you like Costa Rica, make sure you check out Dirk's Wild World and his documentary series. He's not paying me to say that, but I've seen it so far. It looks pretty good. Looks amazing. And I think I'll take your advice too. I'll set you and get some trail cams. What do we do, Dirk? So here in Costa Rica, there's enormous variety of ants, and there's as Dirk pointed out to me. Dirk was just posting here. There's the bullet ant, and the bullet ant is, he said, has the most painful sting of any insect in the insect kingdom. So there's those. I've never encountered them. Then there's, of course, the leaf cutters. You see them all the time. And there's a variety of all kinds of different ants. But the ones that boggle my mind are there's these ants that are so small you can barely see them. And the ones that I've seen like sweets. So if you leave something out on a counter, like you see this like little tiny community coming in and coming after whatever sweet that you have left there. So you really kind of keep things on a clean basis around your sink and things. You don't want to leave anything too long, especially if it's sweet. But the one ant that's actually caused me the most trouble, they're small, but not as small as the microscopic ones I was just talking about. They're about half the size of a grain of rice, and they're outside usually. And when I go out to feed the goats or something, and or even hang my clothes on a clothesline, and they get me right on the feet, and they get me right underneath where my sandal strap goes, and it's a bite, but it's actually a sting. As you'll see, they've got their little bodies curved around with a stinger in it, and that sting sometimes you'll have the effects of that for a month or so. Daniel will be glad to hear that. My friend Daniel's got coffee from Cafe Don Emilio. Is my go-to coffee. And if you come to Uvita, you need to go to El Mercado and meet Daniel. And Daniel he's Costa Rican, but he speaks fluent English, and he's got a great sense of humor. And he's just an overall great guy. So if you're in Uvita on Saturday or Wednesday, go to El Mercado, and I've done several videos on that, and some include directions. You can find them in the different playlists I have. really is amazing how the sky has changed over the course of the last hour or so. I should do a time lapse when I'm here. That is a good idea, time lapse, because I'm here anyways. I might as well set up a camera and do a time lapse. No, you had an airport actually gave you money back. Wow, wow, that's like that's crazy. I could never imagine a U.S. airline doing that. That's awesome. You must be doing something right. That's for sure. You get the VIP treatment. So that means you can afford another trip back here sometime soon. Yeah, like they said, that's an offer you can't refuse when the airline's offering to give you money, that kind of money. And the price of flights have gone up so much lately. It's crazy. Last year, I got a flight deal from San Jose, Costa Rica to New York City round trip for it was like under $230 for a round trip. And it wasn't too bad. There was just one layover. It was kind of a tight layover, but it wasn't too bad. You know, one of those layovers where you're kind of stressed out because you're not sure if you're going to make it. But it turned out I did make it, even though I made some mistakes. I think I did a video on it. I had some mistakes uh, going from, making the change. I went in and out of security when I shouldn't have. I had to go back through the whole security line again. Yeah, my airline travels usually aren't very pleasant, but that would really getting 2,400 euros per person as a gift. That would be a pleasant end to any trip. It's funny. I had a few months back. I had this real grumpy guy on here. He's I think he must have been from the USA, and he kept on always saying, "Oh, Uvita's not the real Costa Rica. It's not the real Costa Rica." And it's like, what is real Costa Rica? I'm thinking, like, listen to that sound of the leaf blower or the weed eater there, and that's the sound of real Costa Rica. If you're in Costa Rica, you're probably going to hear that. So the real Costa Rica is all about your perception of things. You know, people think that their idea of what a place is what it is, and that's not the way. That's not how it goes. Like, I'm traveling to an indigenous community this weekend, and in Baruca, and that, if you were trying to define real Costa Rica, you might say that, because that's like more, longer established. But the reality is, wherever you are and what you're used to is the real Costa Rica for you. You have to remember that, Spain came here and conquered Costa Rica at one point, quote unquote conquered, and there was an indigenous community that lived here. So, one person's idea of what the real Costa Rica is what they fabricated in their mind. This is definitely something I've thought about a lot, and I need to do a video on. Yeah, you know what? The U.S. government paid our airlines a ton of money too, but they just decided to not let it get back out of their hands. They were just as brutal to the people flying as ever. I have not heard any real happy stories about U.S. airlines being super nice to people. There's that annoying plane that flies overhead all the time. It flies like it's the equivalent to like second gear in a car. It just drones over the whale tail all the time. Airplanes here are not a very common sight. It's like during high season, this guy flies a lot more. I'm not sure he's flying over the whale tail. Wouldn't think he would be flying over the whale tail. I mean, yeah, this isn't the time. It isn't low tide yet. What time is low tide today? I'm gonna look up when low tide is. I actually have it written down on my erase board. I've got the tides written down. But I've got the memory of I don't know. I've got a mind like a sieve, as they say. I don't always recall things the way I should. Too many things going on in here. So I've got a lot of Costa Rican friends, and I get sent memes sometimes. It's like my Spanish is so bad, I don't know what the memes are saying. They don't fully comprehend that. I'm not a big fan of communications from memes anyway. But if somebody sends me a meme in Spanish, I mean, I can translate. I can take a picture of it and use the translator that way. But I guess it's a good exercise for me to try to decipher these things that help me learn better. But no, I'm not a huge fan of communication by meme. When somebody sees a meme and they think it says something profound, to say, yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I'd rather hear the profound thought just from them, unfiltered. And I've let my coffee go cold again. One of the fun things I like about living here is kind of sharing the sights and sounds and experiences here. And one of the biggest experiences is going out to the whale tail. Sí, muchas gracias. And I got to go out to the whale tail with Senior Don last week, the week before, and that was an interesting experience. And also, I took another friend and her daughter the last week, and they had never been to the whale tail. So I think I'm up to, I've done the whale tail tour to 8 people, and 7 of which were from Costa Rica. So not all Costa Ricans actually get to the beach that often. If you live in San Isidro, you don't have that quick access to the beach, especially if you don't have a vehicle or anything. It's a long bus ride from San Isidro to down to the beach. And I do have a friend that she can take an Uber down here, but it's hard to get an Uber to go back. And Ubers aren't cheap either. Yeah, communication in the digital age is interesting. Communicate with memes, emojis, little stickers, animated GIFs. Like people send you a sticker with an animated GIF that seems like nothing that you can identify, and they expect you to know what they're saying. So I'm finding communication is difficult on a one-to-one with some people here. Others it's easy, and it's not solely based on the language difference. It's just, I don't know. I think we all have different communication styles, and I've noticed there's a lot of people that I've dated in particular. It's communication is not always smooth, and it's not because of the language. Mostly, it's mostly, well, no, I can't say that. It's partially because of the language, partially because communication styles aren't the same. So live and learn and try to adapt, and patience is definitely a key. Yeah, you need to dig down into all those different virtues. Patience, understanding, empathy. And one thing I discovered about the whale tail, when the tide is up a little bit and the whole sandbar is not visible, sometimes when it's starting to recede and it's shallow enough to walk out there, it can be tough on your feet. If you're in bare feet, you're walking on sand, then all of a sudden you start walking on rock. And some of the rock here, it's not like, it isn't really pointy rock, but it's just uncomfortable on your feet. And I know there's a few surfers here around town. They walk around everywhere barefoot. It probably wouldn't hurt them a bit, but me, I don't know. I wear sandals all the time. You know, when I'm walking on the beach, I'll go barefoot. But yeah, walking on those little rocks that are revealed by the receding tide, it's not pleasant. And that's not just at the whale tail. Like even like for instance, you go to Ventanas, and depending on where the tide is, sometimes the tide pulls some of the sand back, and there'll be a little, like almost like a pothole of rocks. So you can be walking along, and then you're walking on sand under the water. And if you're smart, you're shuffling your feet because that's how you avoid being stung by a ray. And then you'll just kind of slip into one of those little rock holes, and you're like, ah, man, that hurts my feet. It's actually knocked me off my feet before because it's just so painful. It seems like this little butterfly bush is always in blossom. There's always butterflies and hummingbirds zooming around it. So I was talking earlier about changes in Uvita, and they did a kind of a survey last week sometime, where they monitored the traffic coming in at the intersection in Uvita, between Uvita Street and 34, where the BCR bank is, and all the restaurants, the Cebu, and they're trying to determine if we deserve a red light there, a traffic light, which it definitely does because it's such a dangerous spot. And I heard a rumor that we were going to be getting it, but who knows how long it will take. It's a difficult intersection because a lot of the taxis wait in front of the VCR on Route 34 in front of VCR, and it just totally blocks your vision if you're coming out to make a left-hand turn from Uvita Street. There's been a lot of close calls there and a lot of accidents and a lot of people hurt. Look at that sky. It's almost completely blue now. I started off with some beautiful clouds. I prefer the beautiful clouds myself, but it's a beautiful day. I mean, it'll be a great day for the beach. It's definitely a high sunscreen day. Make sure you put your high SPF sunscreen on today. Drink plenty of water. So I mentioned earlier in the broadcast that I can now do live streams from my phone. So I can, it's a lot easier. I can just it doesn't take any planning. I can just be somewhere and say, oh yeah, I can do a live of this, especially if there's a Wi-Fi connection. It's a lot easier. I'm not sure how well I would live stream on my data plan. I'm not sure if that would be strong enough to do a live stream. But if you want to be notified about that, you hit the bell, hit the notification bell on my channel, and that'll, anytime that I upload a video or do it live, it'll let you know that that's going on. And at the most, when I'm doing really well, it'll be maybe 2 videos a week. I need to get back in the swing of things with that. I'm dealing with this a little bit of a procrastination thing. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my work process, because I've got a lot of bigger things going on. So I'm proceeding slower. Maybe that's my reason. I don't know, but we'll see. Today, I got to make sure today's a productive day. No more, yeah, well, I'll do it tomorrow. Because that's a horrible trap to get into, and it's easy to get into, like, oh yeah, well, I can do that tomorrow. I'll just do this for today. I can do that tomorrow. All right, well, that looks like all we've got for today. And make sure you boop that like button. And if you want to be notified about future lives and when videos come up, you hit the bell, and then that gives you the notifications, because subscribing they don't always throw it in your feed that I've got a video up. So the bell is really helpful if you don't want to miss anything. All right, that's all I've got for this edition of Costa Rica Story Live. Make sure you like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and share it with a friend. And as always, I have a hard time seeing the screen here to log out, so I'm going to start bringing my glasses with me, and then I can do my live stream and easier. All right, hasta luego.